Have you ever found yourself in a situation, maybe something totally ordinary, even routine, and then stumbled upon a hidden story? Something that just, challenges how you see things.
Happens more than you think.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into one of those stories. It's a really compelling first-hand account from a listener, Khun M. He found himself right in the middle of something truly unforgettable, all during, what should have been just a normal hospital stay.
Right.
So let's set the scene. We need to go back to 1995. Picture a rural hospital, Pathum Thani province in Thailand. Now, this isn't like a modern city hospital. Think much more basic, limited resources. A place where, honestly, the unexpected was probably pretty common.
Definitely. And our goal here really is to unpack this whole narrative. We want to look at, what rural healthcare was actually like then, the sort of surprising connections people make when they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And of course, the chilling, kind of unexplainable stuff that happened later on.
Okay, so Khun M gets admitted. He's in the heavy patient ward, second floor, just there for treatment. He's been there maybe 3 days, getting used to the place.
Settling in.
And then things change. On his 4th day, an emergency case comes in. A new patient put in the bed right next to Khun M.
Right beside him.
Yeah. And this new patient is a young guy, a teenager, but he's visibly severely ill. Hepatitis.
Serious case then.
Very serious. Khun M's description is just incredibly vivid. He said the boy had a large build, but his skin was just intensely yellow, yellow like someone had painted him with turmeric was the phrase he used.
Wow. That's quite an image.
Isn't it? And his condition seemed critical, super weak, could barely move, mostly just staring at the ceiling, He came in the wheelchair, his mother was there, trying to encourage him.
It's striking, isn't it, how quickly that human connection forms in a place like that, Two strangers, both vulnerable.
Instantly connected.
Yeah. And the severity of the illness plus that rural setting, it just creates this intense, almost claustrophobic atmosphere. And Khun M, he's right there, recovering himself, knowing hepatitis is contagious. That has a whole other layer of worry, right?
Absolutely. So, as the day goes on, Khun M has his first, let's say, strange encounter with this young patient. The boy turns to him, clearly distressed, and asks for water. Calls him uncle, respectfully.
Okay, a simple request.
Seems simple. So Khun M, tries to help, mixes one of those red sweet drinks like Helly Boy, gives it to him, but then it gets weird. The patient doesn't drink it.
Yeah.
He takes the glass and just pours it all over himself. Says he's so hot inside. Khun M's first thought, very practical, is about ants being attracted.
Right, a very down-to-earth concern in a bizarre moment.
But the boy was obviously way past worrying about ants.
And that detail, the ants, it sort of frames the nurse's reaction, doesn't it, when Khun M tells her what happened?
She dismisses it, just says, it's delirium, common with severe illness.
Which, it could be. But Khun M saw him. He said the boy was genuinely sweating buckets, like huge beads of sweat. It wasn't just imagined heat.
Yeah.
It really shows the pressure those nurses were under. Overworked, limited resources. They have to make quick calls, maybe sometimes miss things.
For sure. So, later that night, maybe around 9 p.m., the patient makes another request. Much more urgent this time. He pleads with Khun M, help me get to the restroom. Now Khun M's in a tough spot, a real dilemma. He hesitates, and you can understand why. The kid's hooked up to everything, tubes, IV lines, blood bags. Moving him seems risky.
And there's the hepatitis risk again?
Exactly. The fear of catching it is very real, very contagious. So he goes to the nurse again.
Okay.
And her answer really highlights the hospital's limitations.
Yeah.
She basically says, look, it's a rural hospital. There are no male nurses, no orderlies on duty now. He has to use a bedpan. She's worried he'll fall if he tries to walk, make things even worse.
Yeah, that paints a stark picture, doesn't it? Rural healthcare in 95. Patients needing help from other patients, nurses making these really tough calls alone because there's literally no one else, staffing shortages, lack of basic facilities.
It forced people into roles they never expected.
Absolutely, improvisation born out of necessity.
So despite the nurse saying no, despite Khun M trying with the bedpan, the patient's desperation just boils over. Suddenly he just rips out all his IV lines, everything, and tries to get out of bed himself to walk to the bathroom.
Wow, just desperate.
Total desperation. The nurse sees this, and her reaction is immediate and drastic. She grabs a needle, injects medicine. Khun M thought probably a strong sedative straight into the patient's remaining IV bag setup.
Without calling a doctor.
Nope, no consult. Just did it. Presumably to calm him down, maybe knock him out. Then she just went back to watching TV.
That's quite a decision. Made under pressure, clearly, but still.
Yeah. And what's interesting is there was an elderly patient in the room, too. He saw this. And he quietly questioned it. Said something like, the boy's already so weak. Will that medicine make him worse?
That's fascinating. A kind of moral commentary from another patient. It really underlines that gray area, A decision made out of necessity, maybe not the best medical decision, but perhaps the only one she felt she could make in that moment, given the lack of support.
Right. And what happened next?
Yeah.
Well, it seemed to confirm those fears. After the injection, Khun M watches the young patient decline rapidly. His breathing gets super fast, really heavy.
Yeah.
His eyes start rolling back, and he keeps calling out, "Mother! Just, Mother!" Sweating profusely, big drops of sweat all over him.
Just heartbreaking.
Khun M knew something was terribly wrong. He alerts the nurse again. She comes, takes one look, and basically says, he's not going to make it. Just like that.
Straightforward, brutal almost.
And then, a moment later, the boy takes this final, huge, gasping breath, a really loud sound. And then, nothing. Stillness. Gone. The nurse tried CPR, pumping his chest, but it was too late. He couldn't be revived. The young patient died around 10 p.m.
It's just so raw. The reality of death in a place like that, completely stripped of any, clinical distance. Khun M wasn't just a bystander. He was right there witnessing the final moments. That kind of unfiltered experience, it stays with you.
It definitely stayed with him. Because what happened next was maybe even more shocking. The nurse, with no orderly, no other staff around, she turns to Khun M.
To Khun M, the other patient.
Yeah. Asks him to help her prepare the body for the morgue.
No, you're kidding.
Not kidding. He had to help. He described the procedure. Injecting formalin to preserve the body, then plugging all the orifices, nose, ears, even the anus using tissue and long tweezers.
As a patient, he had to do that.
As a patient recovering himself.
That's just extraordinary. It speaks volumes about how incredibly basic and understaffed that place must have been. The fact that they'd even ask a patient. It just highlights the absolute desperation. Locals probably knew exactly what kind of facility it was just by the name. No frills, no backup.
None at all. So after they finished that grim task, they put the body in a red zip-up body bag. Apparently, red was used for infectious cases.
Yeah.
The nurse wrote his name and hepatitis on the bag.
Okay.
And then the final journey.
Yeah.
Just Khun M and the nurse. They pushed the body bag on a cart down the elevator to the hospital morgue. It had a local name, the Red Pavilion. Tol.
Salading.
Yeah. Again, just the two of them. They put the body in the cold room and then just walked back to the ward. Silence.
Wow. What an ordeal for Khun M.
Unbelievable. So back in the ward, Khun M and that elderly patient, the one who questioned the sedative, they talked about it all. But what they'd seen, how tragic it was, eventually things quieted down.
Until they didn't, I'm guessing.
Exactly. Around 1 a.m. the next night, the first night after the boy died, Khun M starts hearing something. His bed was near the window, and he hears this faint but distinct thudding sound.
Thudding.
Yeah, like someone jumping inside a sack. Thump, thump, thump.
Okay, that's unnerving.
Khun M said he didn't believe in ghosts, right? So his first instinct is rational. He looks out the window, tries to find a source for the sound, sees nothing but a big tree.
Trying to explain it away. It's what we do, isn't it? When faced with something that doesn't fit our reality, the rational mind scrambles for an explanation.
Totally. So he gets back into bed, turns to face the glass door of the room. And the thudding gets louder. Definitely louder now. It sounds like it's coming from the staircase area, just outside the room.
Getting closer.
Getting closer. And then Khun M looks up and sees something that he said nearly made him faint.
Oh, what did he see?
The red body bag. The exact same one he helped carry hours before. It was bouncing, jumping, right there in front of the glass door. Thump, thump, thump. He said it couldn't get in because the door was closed, but it was like someone was inside, jumping hard against it.
Oh my God, the actual body bag.
The actual red body bag. He was terrified. Immediately tries to wake the old man. Look at the door.
The old man
claims he sees nothing. Just tells Khun M he's imagining things. Go back to sleep.
Oh, that's worse. To see something that terrifying and have someone right there deny it.
He felt completely alone in his terror. Closed his eyes, just started praying silently. Felt this ice-cold chill, pure fear.
That isolation must have amplified the horror tenfold. Not just seeing it, but being the only one seeing it. Makes you question your own sanity.
Definitely. After maybe 3 minutes, he hears the jumping sound again. Opens his eyes just enough to see the red bag. Jumping away, down the stairs. Thump, 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 fading away.
Unbelievable.
So the next morning, the doctor comes for the routine blood pressure check. Khun M, still shaken, tells him what he saw.
And the doctor's reaction?
Laughed.
Yeah.
Just laughed it off. Told him he was imagining things, probably stressed. Standard medical skepticism.
Right, the classic clash. Science versus personal experience. For the doctor, it's impossible, must be psychological. For Khun M, it was terrifyingly real.
Exactly. So Khun M then talks to the nurse, the one he helped with the body.
Her reaction might be different.
Totally different. She was visibly scared. Asked him, really? You really saw it? Khun M insisted, yes, it was jumping right at the door.
She believed him.
Seemed to. Her advice is interesting. She said when she got off duty, she was going to make merit for the boy, the Buddhist practice, to help his spirit find peace. She suggested Khun M do the same when he got out of the hospital.
A spiritual solution for a spiritual problem, in her view?
Pretty much. But the haunting wasn't over yet. The next night, the second night after the death, same thing. The thudding sound started again. And this time, Khun M said he could also distinctly smell formalin. That chemical smell.
Preservation fluid.
Yeah. He tried pointing it out to the old man again. Can't you smell that? Don't you hear it? But the old man still insisted. Nothing. You're dreaming.
Still denying it.
Still denying it. Until the third night. This is the turning point. Khun M's lying there, probably dreading 1 a.m., and suddenly the old man wakes him up.
What?
The old man grabs him, totally panicked, saying, Hey, I saw it.
He finally saw it.
Finally saw it. Khun M, probably relieved, but also maybe a bit like, told you so, replies, You just saw it? I've been seeing it for 2 nights. My bed's right by the door.
Oh, the validation Khun M must have felt. But also, poor old guy, now he's terrified too.
Absolutely terrified. The old man immediately knelt down by his bed and started praying, hands pressed together. Now they were both witnesses. It wasn't just Khun M's nightmare anymore.
That shared experience, it changes everything. It makes it real in a way that solitary terror can't. Now they can face it together, sort of.
Right. So the next morning, they decide they need to do something. They go together down to that shrine near the morgue, near the red pavilion.
To make offerings.
Yeah, they offered incense and they prayed directly to the spirit. They basically pleaded with him, please don't scare us anymore.
Yeah.
Don't let us see you. We promise when we leave the hospital, we will make merit for you.
A direct appeal.
A direct appeal. And apparently, it worked.
Really?
That night, the fourth night, silence, no thudding, no smells, no sightings, nothing. It had appeared for exactly 3 nights and then stopped.
Wow, just stopped.
Just stopped.
Yeah.
About a week later, Khun M was discharged, and he kept his promise. He made sure to get the young patient's name from the hospital records.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he went and performed the merit-making ceremonies for him, offered food to monks, the whole thing, Sankasan. After that, he said, nothing else strange ever happened related to it.
It's incredible how that act, rooted in belief and compassion, seemed to provide closure. Khun M himself called it his first and most unexpected encounter with anything like this, something he never imagined experiencing.
Right, it just completely blurred the lines between, a medical event and something deeply spiritual or supernatural.
It really shows how different frameworks, science, spirituality, offer different paths to understanding, especially when one framework hits a wall.
So we've just walked through this incredibly personal story. It mixes the harsh realities of under-resourced healthcare with this really chilling, hard-to-explain encounter. It's just a powerful reminder, isn't it? About the hidden dramas, the mysteries that can hide in plain sight, even in a hospital ward.
It absolutely is, and it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How do our surroundings, especially places stripped of modern comforts, kind of shape how we perceive reality, maybe even the unseen?
Yeah.
And what does finding peace really mean? Is it the medical cure? Is it the ancient ritual? Is it just basic human kindness in the face of suffering, both physical and maybe spiritual?
That's a great point. It's this fascinating intersection of belief, doubt, and just sheer human resilience. Maybe it reminds us that even in spaces we think are purely rational, there might be experiences that just don't fit the mold. They push us to think a bit broader.
Definitely something to ponder.
Well, if you found this story as gripping as we did, please do hit that like button, maybe share this deep dive with someone who appreciates these kinds of accounts, and definitely subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We've got more stories exploring these edges of experience coming your way.